Well, next I want to turn to Bill Banta of Banta Model Works
Wow, we were so late.
for his build along. And Bill, welcome.
Thank you. Right. Well, I'm probably unprepared too because I've been throwing things together in the last few minutes. But here we go.
Well, listen, I got a question before you start, and I meant to ask you last week, and it skipped my mind. How many of those shades are you going to build as kits?
As kits,
Yeah,
they're not going to be kits. You got to buy it complete, and I've got enough castings for 3 locomotives.
I'll be darned.
So we'll see how it goes with the first one, get it under steam this summer, and test it out on the track and go from there. But as I've gone through building this one, I've been making parts for 3 engines. So we'll see.
It's going to be impressive. I can't wait to see it once you got
neither can I. Looking forward to seeing it on the track.
it.
And you mentioned being at the Amherst Railway
Right.
train show this weekend. We were down there too, and tell you, I haven't seen a show like that there in at least 10 years. I've been going down there since '98.
Yep.
So it was really good, made up for some past years that were really slow. So there you go.
I heard the vendors were doing great.
Everybody I talked to had a smile on their face, including myself. So,
Yeah.
and it's not been that way in some time.
Well, that's great news.
So anyways, off to the build. Well, here you go. I finished it. And not really, just kidding. That's the finished model. What we're striving to do. And last week I left you with basically the inner shell, which is MDF board. And I put the siding on. I stained it a grimy black. And tonight we're going to do the front and the inner bit inside the doorway here. So I've already put one of the pieces on the inside. It's this piece here. And so we'll put this one in, and then we'll put the door frame in and go from there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shoot the back of this with some of my Super 77. And I'm just shooting into my trash barrel. It's got a liner in it. Usually I use my paint booth to do this, but since my camera's got not long enough lead on it, and I really didn't like the way the iPhone came out last week, we're going to do it in here. By the way, I don't recommend doing it in your trash can in the office. It gets everything all sticky. Okay, you didn't see me drop that one in. Maybe one of these days I'll get the camera on the left-hand side and see better. Well, there you go. That's that. And we'll take this piece here. I'm going to cut this section out. And I'm using a X-Acto chisel blade. And it seems to work really well. Pushing it into these tabs that hold the piece on the bigger sheet. I've used a simple razor blade in the past. You know, generally nobody's watching, so I use whatever I can pick up at the time. And then sand off the nubs. And I'll give it a test fit here. See how it's going to do. Looks pretty good. And I want this to be flush at the sides of this piece and flush right in here with that. Okay. So another shot of glue. Now we'll put the outer trim on. We're going to add these pieces here, and these go inside. And I'm pretty sure the instructions call for installing these inside pieces first. But hey, who reads instructions, right? So I'm going to test fit this piece in here. And I'm going to say, right, put those other side pieces in first. Which way do they go? Yeah, that's it. And this inner piece actually fits behind the outer piece. That's why you're supposed to put them in first. It's not that terribly critical, but you know. And I'm just running the end of my tweezer up and down here just to press it against the wall there. And we'll add the door trim. Just takes a little coaxing to get it to settle into place. There we go. Let's get that interior bit. Now further up, this piece should have been painted, but we're going to leave it unpainted this time for this model. I'm going to add a bead of glue across here. Set this sill in place. I'll take the upper wall and just set it in place for the moment, just to get everything pressed down, make sure it's going to fit. And then we'll take this wall, put a good coating of glue on the back. Get it in place. And then to finish up the front, we're going to add the corner bits. And this is some 4x4 stock. Comes with a kit. So I'm going to take it, lay it right in here like this, up to that ledge, test it. I like it, so I'm going to cut it a little bit long. Cut one for the other side. Sand the end square. Get the corner in. Clean up any glue. I always cut them long because if I don't, I'll cut them too short. Cut them long enough, then they can trim off afterwards. So while it's sitting there, we'll let that sit up like that. We'll take another one of these. I'm going to lay it in here. And same thing. Okay. And I think what we'll do is let it go there. And we'll get more going on it next week. And I think finish it off the week after, yeah?
Sounds like a winner.
All right.
Sound-
Bill?
Go ahead.
How forgiving is the 77 spray? I mean, if you can you move things around at all before, if you have to, or anything like that? Or once you stick it there, it's done?
No, you've got a little bit of time to move it around. I usually put enough glue on there to where it's going to hold it well, but it's still wet enough to move stuff around. The instructions say you should spray both walls to do that, but I just do the one because, yeah, it's just easier. And
Yeah.
you know, at times you don't get enough glue on to begin with. It might lift off in 6 or 12 months. My models tend to travel quite a bit, well, twice a year, and I'll get some lifting out over that period of time, but generally I just go back and glue it back on. But it really holds pretty well.
What kind of glue's in that syringe thing of yours?
This is pipe bond 2.
Okay.
And I get
You
these.
thin it at all?
No. This is just straight out of the bottle. And I get the syringe right off eBay. I think they're $1 a piece or $2, something like that.
When you use when you were spraying the glue, are you like, when you go down over the edge of the workbench, are you spraying into a wastebasket or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
Generally, out in the shop, I've got a paint booth that I use just because it's right there, right next to the building area. But generally, I'll use a trash can or get a box or something to spray into.
Yeah, I think it would gum up your spray booth, wouldn't it?
No, because the fan I've got on it pulls everything out.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
at the front of the spray booth, there's a turntable,
Mm-hmm.
and it does get gummed up, but then I'll spray it with paint and it dries. It's a very thick mess.
Yep.
Anybody else got questions for Bill?
Well, is the model still available, discounted?
Yes, I'm glad you brought that up. The best way to get it with a discount is to email me and I'll send you a PayPal invoice with a discount on it, rather than try to get the website to do what we want it to do. It's just easier to send me the email.
Great.
We'll take
Thank you,
care.
Bill.
You're
Thanks a
welcome.
lot.